Ankur, hi, morning. Any possibility of a stance change by the RBI? I mean, the case is building stronger for a pause.
Yes, both the sides have equal if strong comments as we were discussing also that on one side the inflation has come in at 0.25%. More importantly, if you see the trajectory of Q1, Q2 and Q3, it is downwards 0.25% multi-month low number, and similarly 1.6% is the average out which is coming in for inflation, which is much lower than the 1.8% target of Reserve Bank of India. But from Q4 onwards and as well as Q1 onwards, the expectation was that the inflation will inch up, and more importantly this time we'll also see that Q2 numbers will be projected from Reserve Bank of India. So not only for current financial year, we'll get to know for the next financial year how does Reserve Bank of India see inflation and growth dynamics, and of course on the growth front, on one hand we say that 8% is the average of Q1 and Q2, but more importantly the constituents of the growth, the nominal GDP is something which not many of the street participants are happy about, and that is something which how Reserve Bank of India sees this data. The central bank has always been data dependent, and they have mentioned even in the last policy that they will wait and watch for the data before they take any kind of action. So front loading is already done, but yes, there is a case of both the sides view being stronger on whether or not to go for 25 basis point cut.
And Ankur, very good morning. What should we be watching out with regard to the governor's commentary? Will there be any shift in terms of RBI's inflation, growth, any of those assessments this time in your opinion?
Yes, inflation and growth projections are definitely going to be revised, and it is anybody's guess. Simple mathematics of 8% being in the first half for the growth front, and definitely the growth guidance is going to be revised upwards more than 7%. When I asked the question last time to RBI governor, what is his aspiration of the growth? The answer was 7% plus. Now we can easily view that 7% plus growth coming in for the current financial year. So does the aspirations grow? That is something to be watched out for. What is the revision in guidance? And I was talking about this next financial year as well, because the base will come into effect. Till now we were getting advantage of that from Q4 onwards, so that is something to be watched out for. Even for the assumption of Reserve Bank of India last time, you would have noticed that from Q1 of the next financial year, the expectation is that more than 4% CPI can be seen. So we need to wait and see whether or not Reserve Bank of India gives guidance of 4% plus for the next financial year for inflation, because as Sajid was also mentioning, the mandate of MPC is to maintain inflation while keeping an eye on the growth. So now governor has definitely put the paddle on the growth in the current scenario, but more importantly the commentary on rupee will be important. The Reserve Bank of India governor has mentioned several times that he is not watching any level, but how is he going to manage the volatility is something to be watched out.